Hello and welcome back to the Fire Burns Within channel. Here is my monthly roundup of metal and rock albums that I listened to during the month of September. I'm going to quickly run through the albums that reached a rating of 7.5 out of 10. The first one is Epoch, and the album is called Hiraeth. It's an EP of technical death metal. Really did enjoy this one. Next is a band called Anakim, and the album is called The Elysian Void, another technical death metal album. Quite enjoyable indeed. Next is Daughtry, and the album is Dearly Beloved, modern, heavy pop rock, if you like. This is a decent album from Daughtry. I quite enjoyed this. Next is a biggie, will be a lot of people's top album, but nowhere near for me. It's Iron Maiden and Senjutsu, 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, it's a good latter-day Maiden album, I can't deny it. Some very, very good songs. The production is not to my taste at all, but it's Iron Maiden, so it is at least good. The next album is one from a band I've never heard of. They're called Manic, and the album is called Injection of Self. They play a sort of chunky, heavy thrash metal. This one is also at 7.5 out of 10. Next one is an album called by a band called Newman, and the album is called Into the Monsters Playground. Newman is led by Steve Newman. He's a British singer-songwriter in the melodic rock vein. He's had a whole heap of albums under the Newman name, and this is a rock-solid album, no doubt about it. The next album, also at 7.5 out of 10, is Normandy, and the album is called Dark and Beautiful Secrets. Normandy is a Swedish, modern, sort of emo pop rock band with catchy riffs, very catchy vocals, but sort of very poppy, very emo-ish as well. So this is a guilty pleasure, if you will, for a supposed metalhead. Next is a band called Portrait and their new album At One With None. This is classic King Diamond styled heavy metal, rock solid, enjoyable. Next, also at 7.5 out of 10, is Robin Red and his self-titled solo album. It's modern, melodic, AOR/rock, enjoyable album overall. Quite enjoyed this. 3 more albums to mention at 7.5 out of 10. The first one is Robledo and Wanted Man. Tommy Robledo, to give him his full name, is an Argentinian singer, I believe. He's fronting a band called Sinners Bleed. This is his foray into a solo album, solo album, if you like, and it's a rock solid one. It's a good start for him. He's a good singer. He's got an accent, but he's a good singer. Next one is Terra Maze and Sorella Minore. Terra Maze is an Australian melodic prog metal band. They're very cool. This album, I need more plays of this. It is solid, but I prefer slightly shorter, more succinct songs. I mean, the opening track is very long and the others are sort of shorter, but I like the shorter ones much more. But you're going to get quality with Terra Maze. And the last album at 7.5 out of 10 is a band I've never heard of. They're called Thy Row, and the album is called Unchained. They play a melodic rock/metal hybrid. Quite enjoyable, good vocals, rock solid, melodic, heavy metal/rock. So it's a good start for this band. Now we go on to the albums that reached a rating of 8 out of 10. All these albums are 8 out of 10 albums from September. The first one is Blazing Stone and Damnation. If you don't know Blazing Stone, they're basically a Running Wild tribute act, but they do their own songs, but in the old classic Running Wild style, you know, the very old speedy Running Wild style, and they do a very, very good job of it. Very enjoyable and fun album. The next album is Carcass and Torn Arteries. This was a good album. I enjoyed this. At first, I was slightly disappointed, but then on subsequent plays, I got into it much more. Some great riffs, great vocals from Jeff Walker as always, some cool solos, some cool ideas. You know, it's classic Carcass basically. The next album is a band I've never heard of. They're called Death Portrait, and it's a self-titled album. They play a kind of solid, heavy death metal. That's all there is to be said. So it's rock solid. I really did enjoy this album. The next one is a band, again, I've never heard of. They're called Dr. Smoke, and the album is called Dreamers and the Dead. Basically, they ape the non-thrashy style of Megadeth from, say, the early 90s, Countdown to Extinction, Euthanasia, and I love that era, so I really did like this album. It was really good. Next is Edge of Paradise and The Unknown. They're a female-fronted, modern, melodic heavy metal band from Frontiers Records, of course. This was very good. I really enjoyed this. I like her vocals and I like the songwriting, so thumbs up. Next is a fresh band. I've actually done a reaction to one of their songs on this channel, and now I've listened to the full album. They're called King Zebra, and the album is called Survivors. They play a sort of standard upbeat melodic rock / metal, if you like, but more on the melodic rock side. Very enjoyable album. I really like this, hence the fairly high rating. Next is a sort of project called Pentakill, and this is the third album. It's called 3 Lost Chapter. It's like modern, melodic, heavy metal, you know, very heavy, crunchy riffs, power metal if you like. It's like a computer game project, but there's lots of guest vocalists. Well, 3 in the main. There's Jorn Lander, and there's Nura Luhimo, and there's a chap called Trey Watson, and they're all very good. I really enjoyed this album. Next is Rage and Resurrection Day. Really enjoyed this comeback from Rage. I think it's one of their best recent albums. PV's on fine form. Rage sounds good. The production is good. The melodies are more sort of upfront, if you like, which is always much better for me. 2 albums to mention. The first one is the Night Flight Orchestra and Aromantic 2. If you don't know the Night Flight Orchestra, they're a retro AOR 80s yacht rock band, if you like. I just really love their melodies. I love their songwriting. Speed Strid, his voice is great. I just love the vibes of this band. They're so cool, cool, melodic AOR from the 80s, and with their own style as well a little bit. You know, they've just sound so cool, basically. So I really enjoyed these guys. One more album at the 8 out of 10 level, and it's British Heroes Vega and the album that they've just released, Anarchy and Unity. It's another rock solid album. It's a little bit heavier than the previous album. The songs are really upbeat, really catchy. There's some really good choruses. It's a really enjoyable album. I had to give it the 8 out of 10. 2 albums to mention that made the 8.5 out of 10 rating. The first one is a band I've never heard of called Anomaly, and the album is called Planet Storm. This is a very slick and well played technical death metal album. I love these type of albums. Lots of killer riffs, crunchy sound, cool vocals, just you know, it's just right up my alley when it comes to death metal sounds. So, you know, big thumbs up for Anomaly. And the next one is also a similar styled band. They're called Cognizance, and the album is called Upheaval. They play a very fast, similar sound to Anomaly, a little bit faster, a little bit more technical even. Very enjoyable. Again, it gets a solid 8.5 out of 10 from me. 3 albums to mention now in this roundup. Coming in at 9 out of 10 is the latest solo album from Annette Olzon called Strong. This is modern, heavy, melodic metal. Her voice is in tip-top shape. Magnus Carlsen does pretty much all the writing. This is just a great, solid, catchy, melodic heavy metal album. I really did enjoy this album, and for a while it was my album of the month, but 2 albums superseded it. The first one being the new album from Tremonti called Marching in Time. Now, I'm a huge fan of Tremonti. I love his style. I love his solo style where he's more aggressive, more thrashy, still very melodic. His vocals have improved a whole bunch. The album was my album of the month, but with subsequent plays with the other one that is my album of the month, it just slipped into second spot, which means that my album of the month is a debut album by this phantom band called Apostolica, and the album is called Heretica Ecclesia. I've just been sort of I don't know what to say, just listening in awe with these guys. I've just the way they play, the way they make their songs so catchy, so memorable. The production is nice and thick. The drama in the band is good. Of course, the band is like a very similar to a mixture of Powerwolf and Ghost because of the masks. Not so much Ghost musically, more Powerwolf musically, but Ghost because of the masks and some of the drama in some of the songs that they've got. I mean, I just fell in love with this. At first, I really liked it, but I wasn't sure how much. And then I started playing more and more, and it just became a huge favorite for me. And this one gets the rating of 9.5 out of 10 and takes my Album of the Month award. Okay, stay tuned as always for more. This was the roundup for September of 2021.